Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts. We're taking a look at Flash, playing Terran in the bottom right of Minstrel, going up against DDasik. If you don't remember who DDasik is, he won ACS in 2022 over Ride Sky, if I'm recalling correctly. ACS, of course, is the amateur league that if you win that, you get to the finals of an ASL qualifier. He did end up qualifying for ASL off of the back of that. Obviously, every time someone plays an ASL for the first time, they get absolutely steamrolled. So in Season 14, he was in a really tough group with Solkey and Sock and JYJ, and obviously was not able to make it beyond there. But DDasik is very, very good, very, very active. Can obviously take games off of all of the top pros consistently. So looking forward to this match. Flash sending his SCV out very quickly. He's going to go ahead and make a wall. The walls on Minstrel do leave a gap. It's 2 Marines wide. So, you know, that is one way for Zerglings that they can get in, possibly. So you may need to end up blocking that. It's not a Zergling tight wall. But honestly, that's probably better. Zergling tight walls can get kind of silly sometimes. It's like sit behind them with 1 or 2 Marines and you're invincible. I kind of like non-Zergling tight walls, to be honest. It's just, it makes the game more interesting. Okay, so, yeah, I guess we just have to wait for a minute because it's a wall versus a hatch first, so it's like nothing crazy is going to happen. Oh, Flash is actually going to go command center first. Okay. Well, you don't really expect someone to Zergling rush on a 2-player map. Does that sound weird? It's like you know where your opponent is, so you could Zergling rush, I guess. But the thing is, when Terran... Anytime you can choose exactly when you'll scout your opponent, rushes lose power. Doesn't that make sense? Well, I guess that isn't necessarily true for Terran versus Protoss specifically because of the strength of the Zealot in the early game, but in general, okay? Like, Zergling rushing on a 2-player map is going to be weaker because there's no chance they won't scout it if they want to. It's kind of like Huck. It's sometimes that's used as like kind of like fuck. Anyways, the drone harassing a little bit, and yeah, I guess we'll just follow that around a bit. It does cause some lost mining time for Flash. That is annoying. You know, you got to bring all these extra units. But anyways, what I was saying about the 2-player maps. So like, if you know exactly when you can scout your opponent. You could scout early, you could scout late, but like if you're trying to do a Zergling rush, let's say you're on a 4-player map, sometimes they'll just miss the Zerglings. They'll scout you last or something and you gain so much value on the rush because of that. That doesn't really exist on a 2-player map. If you're just sending your SCV straight over, it's like you'll see the Lings on the way and you'll have time to react basically. Whereas if there's a lot of different paths they could come down on a 4-player map, then you can't really guarantee that. So yeah, anyways, I think that's part of the problem with StarCraft 2 is it's only 2-player maps at this point. So it's like, well, I can scout you literally exactly when I want. It's just I make that plan before the game. Anyways, SCV scouting around quite a bit. Layer coming up. And that's a very fast factory from Flash. So it's command center first into his super fast factory. He's continuing to mine his gas. Could be a Wraith build. Could be a Mech build. Could be a Valkyrie rush. All of those seem very reasonable. DDasik, to try to counter the command center first, has taken a 3rd base on location. Well, I guess that's the only way to take a 3rd base, but you know what I mean. 3rd hatchery on location of a new base. And that is going to give him a bit more mining. So that is going to slingshot his economy a little bit. Oh, and it is a mech build. Nice. Okay. I was hoping when I saw that it would end up being mech. Flash's mech, very exciting, very cool stuff. And yeah, well, there's the armory, a single vulture being made. It looks like DDasik doesn't expect this to be what it is. He doesn't have a sunken yet on the way, so there's actually a chance this vulture goes across the map and really causes some havoc. I would like to see add-on here, but I mean, he could make another vulture and you couldn't really fault him for it. Yeah, maybe he wants to make another one out of here. We'll see. But yeah, the Vulture going to go across the map, and he just now starts the creep colony because he saw with the Overlord, but Vultures are very fast, so he'll get there well in advance of a Sunken. There is a little Speedling counterattack going on. Oh, but he actually made a bunker. Look at that. But he has nothing blocking, so there is a possibility that runs up into the main base. And so with nothing being made yet, that could become an issue. Now, Flash decides not to go into the natural. That's kind of interesting. Thought he would do that. And he does run by the bunker. He loses two Zerglings on the way up. And this will be a little bit annoying. But nothing Flash can't deal with. Oh, he's dealing with that quicker than I thought he would, actually. Doesn't actually get any real damage. Like a little bit of lost mine time, but that's it. Goliath's being made. He'll add on range as soon as he can. He makes an engineering bay because we're not watching 4GG anymore. And Flash does like missile turrets. 7 mutas on the way. Enough to one-shot an SCV. And he's actually getting carapace. I'm actually not 100% clear on what the carapace does compared to the attack against Goliath build specifically. I'm trying to think, and nothing really actually comes to mind. Mech is not very common. Oh, it's a double armory build too from Flash. Oh man, that's very cool. Actually, there have been a few games in like ASL and whatnot that had double armory builds, and the Terrans lost every single time I've seen it. I've seen it done in other situations where it's worked, but I want to say 2 or 3 times we saw it in ASL and it lost every time. It's just like, it's a very greedy approach where you're actually rushing to 2-2 as opposed to like a 2-1 that you would see in Terran versus Protoss. But you sit on 2 factories for a very long time with a build like this. The thing is, actually, you know what? This just kind of occurred to me. Like, I knew this, but I didn't think of it in this way yet. But armor for mech against Terran is not that great, and against Protoss is not that great, because Terran mech units and Protoss units deal very high damage, and so armor is weaker against very high damage units. Zerg units are many and deal less damage, so armor in general is stronger against Zerg. So it actually kind of makes sense. Like, the armor upgrades are very similar to quality of attack upgrades in for mech against Zerg, but that's not the case in the other matchups. In the other matchups, attack upgrades are far superior to armor upgrades for Terran mech. So that's actually kind of an interesting reason for that. I really hadn't thought about that in that way. But yeah, I think that that's going to be useful. Now, notice that Flash is going Vultures and Speed. This is because he's sucking up so much gas for the upgrades. He's about to start 2-2, so he can't continue Goliath production. So this is where you switch into Vultures so that you can go and harass the map a little bit. Give yourself a little bit of map presence. Give yourself the potential for a bit of damage. Now, the mutas catch those immediately, so that was really well done by DDasik. And these 2 Vultures, not too likely to get anything done. If they slip out without the mutas doing that, then you're not exactly sure where they'll appear, and they might get some good damage. And you can see the way that DDasik is set up. You're not going to find anything with these Vultures, but at least they're doing some scouting. At least they're getting some things done. Now, 3rd command center off of 4 factories, pure Goliath production. He is going to need to get into siege tanks. I'm actually not clear whether or not he's seen a Hydralisk. Okay. He definitely saw one. It looks like a Vulture snuck in here and he saw some Hydras. But when you see that Hydras are being made, you definitely do need to get into siege tanks. Now, this game is looking, because there's a 4th base on the way. There's this additional command center from Flash. He's adding more factories. He's getting 2-2 upgrades. It feels like the game could go long. If a mech game is going to go long, you need to go Queens. So the Queen's Nest is on the way. We'll see if that's specifically for Queens, or maybe he wants to get the Hive, because, you know, Hive does have some tech that's going to be helpful there as well, which is mostly just Dark Swarm with a Lurker under it. Takes some damage there on the Queens, an additional gas being made. Flash is going to have his 2-2 relatively soon. you look at these upgrades, they're about halfway done. So I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to hit a 2-2 timing push at that point. He's adding a second add-on. So it looks like heavy Goliath siege tank production right now. Oh, don't want to be losing that. Oh, wow. I'm surprised he actually engages here. Oh, comes in with a flank, actually. Yeah, it seems like Flash has enough to hold this, though. I wonder if there's a world in which it would have made more sense to just target this down with that lower group. Like, let the top group come in and tank some, and yeah. That could have been actually very, very good. Okay, let's check. I didn't actually notice if queens were made. No, it looks like it is just going up to Hive very quickly. I would guess that we'll see the Lurker upgrade get started if you're going to rush to Hive. It's really... Darkstorm plus Lurkers is extremely good against mech. There's no way through. You could have 400,000 siege tanks. One Lurker under Darkstorm will not die. It literally deals no damage. So that can be pretty problematic for mech to push through. You got to be really active on top of things when those types of positions occur. Now, this is definitely a map where you can be very active moving your mech units around. There's so many different paths that you can attack down. It's really hard for Zerg to lock down everything at that point. 11 more mutas. Huh. 15 mutas. So this, I don't know about this. We have 2-2 with 3, well, just +3 attack, no +3 armor yet. But, like, there are a lot of Goliaths with really fantastic upgrades. I'm not sure that the mutas are going to do what you're looking for here. They do have 1-1 upgrades, actually. That's pretty insane, too. That's pretty damn impressive. Another command center is done for Flash. He does get that +3 armor started as well. This is a lot of mutas. So I guess this is going to be counterattacks. Actually, that does make some sense. Dashik just going to fly into the main base. He's going to start abusing the mobility of the mech. Now, Flash does have a lot of turrets in here, and it feels like a lot of Goliaths, but honestly, these mutas could have done something right there. Dives on the armory. Okay, he's going to deny 1 upgrade. At what cost? Holy crap. 2-2 is no joke. He spent way too much money stopping 1 armor upgrade. That was a very expensive thing that he just did. Okay, so Flash starting to move out. He has a fair amount of tanks. I think just simply the upgrades are going to make this incredibly hard for Dashik. Some Hydras counterattacking the 3rd base. Flash not going to turn around, because turning around is for weaklings. Now, Flash hitting this base is 100% dead. Dashik is going to have to bring his entire army to have a chance to beat this. He's actually making a lot of Mutalisks once again. +3 attack is not here quite yet. So he's trying to remove these eggs as well. The pathing can be a little bit annoying. Now, if the mutas can pick off some tanks, oh, that actually becomes very interesting for him as a way to make those mutalisks pay off. But obviously, like 3 armor, the mutas are not dealing the amount of damage they're used to dealing. More mutas do come in. A lot of Hydras in here as well. Flash getting his 4th base set up, just now getting it starting as far as mining goes. Flash going to use this little hole he made through the eggs. Ooh! Okay, this side is going to be dominated, but Dashik can't get his Hydras through. This is actually more than half of his army up here. The mutas, I guess, can jump in. And in fact, he's got enough mutas that he can kill all the Goliaths. Now, the problem with what Dashik is doing here, even though he kills this army, is this is a tempo-oriented play. Muta Hydra doesn't gain value over time. It's like you might snap a battle like that, but you're not going to gain long-term value. So he's lost a base, he's using a tempo-oriented strategy, and he's just cleaning things. Whereas Flash now is taking yet another base. So even though he's now cleaned 2 armies of Flash, I don't think this position actually got better for DDasik. I think it got worse for him, which is a weird thing to say. After you kill 2 mech armies, generally like, yes, this is very good for whoever killed the 2 mech armies. But realistically, the economy of Flash is so good, his upgrades are so good, all of his units are very cost efficient. This is why I was saying if the game goes long, you really need queens, because it's the only way to get truly cost efficient against mech. And it's so cost efficient that no one goes mech right now. No one's really gone mech heavily for years because queens are so cost efficient against it. But we see DDasik trying to, he's using this more tempo-oriented approach, which can work, but in the way he's using it to clean up, that's all you're doing is you're cleaning up and your opponent is dictating the flow of the game. Now, Flash defending this base pretty easily against this little group of Hydras coming in. Even sieging 1 tank will massively put this into his favor. Hydra's trying to deny this this base. They do slow down the finishing of the command center. DDasik taking his own 4th once again. I don't think there's really anything left for our Zerg player. Looking about as bad as it can be. Maybe he has 1 good attack left in him. But the attack, I feel like if you're going to do 1 good attack, you probably have to kill 1 base for sure. At least kill 1 base. Maybe get on top of the rally for a little bit too. Something like that to gain some efficiency as units rally out. Okay, he's bringing his army down here. No way. No, he's not going to get anything done with this. That's going to be game. He's going to lose every unit. Flash does not even bother to siege up. He is just cleaning through these Hydras. Just pure Muta Hydra continues to be produced. He does have the +2 Muta attack now, so he's done a real, like 3 upgrades on Mutas is wildly good. Wildly good, but obviously it's not going to hold up to this 3-2, soon to be 3-3 Mass Goliath siege tank. By the way, notice that Flash has mostly not made vultures. Like, he made a few vultures just for buying his upgrades because he had to buy something. And after that, mostly not. That's actually the most promising mech builds that I've seen. Like, straight mech builds. Not mech transitions, but straight mech builds. GG. But the most promising ones I've seen in the last couple years have been vultureless. It's been pure Goliath tank. JYJ did it against Soulkey and had a very good game. And I'm pretty sure that's Fantasy's build. And here we saw Flash do it. Yeah, I do wonder if that's something that'll catch on. The vultureless mech play. Okay. Hope you guys enjoyed. That was kind of fun watching the double armory play there from Flash. I do think, again, it had everything to do with DDasik playing more tempo-oriented approach, which can work if you're being aggressive, but not if you're cleaning up. Okay, guys, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this Flash Terran vs. Zerg, and we'll see you next time.